Alrighty, in this video, I'm going to show you everything I have learned about email marketing after sending 50 million emails, selling over $25 million of our own online courses, and personally paying $15,000 to an email consultant to teach me these things. I have built a repeatable 4-part framework called Lego that acts as the building blocks that make up every single email I have ever written and sent myself, and how mastering this framework has led to Black Friday sales like this one, where we made over $500,000 almost entirely just from email marketing. By the end of this video, you will not only see over a dozen real emails that I am sending right this second, but I will be giving to you 3 copy and paste assets that you can use in tandem with AI to leave with at least 10 emails that you're going to be able to deploy in your email nurture sequences. And you'll be able to do that in less than 60 minutes. All right, foundationally, let's just start at why emails matter in the first place. Since 2016, we have sold over $25 million between these 2 online businesses here. And between these 2 businesses, we have collected over 1 million emails from people through our lead magnets, opt-in pages, and more. And since 2016, our very first online course launching, in those 9+ years, we have sent well over 50 million emails. And while just sending a whole bunch of emails doesn't make me an expert by default, I have learned a thing or two on what makes these emails effective, the do's and the don'ts. And one of the most exciting parts for me of having an email list and growing one and sending emails frequently is Black Friday. Once a year, come Black Friday, we do ginormous multi-6-figure months, our biggest Black Friday ever, generating over $700,000 in sales. And any guesses on where 65% of that $700,000 came from? It was not ads. It was not our Instagram channel. It was not our YouTube channel. It was, you guessed it, our email list. Your email list is literally your tickets to print money whenever you so please, because it's traffic that you own. But email blasts, like the ones you do on Black Friday, are actually one of the last reasons you should be doing emails. I actually wanted to figure out just how effective is email sending and following up with people in an email nurture sequence. So I actually combed through over $3 million worth of transaction data, which comes out to around 6,000 individual purchase journeys from customers. And without fail, almost every single purchase journey from those customers looks something like this. From the very first touch point somebody has in my business, whether it be an ad, a piece of social organic content somewhere, maybe it was word of mouth, maybe it was somebody's affiliate link, whatever that first touch point was, from the very last points before they chose to buy my product, I found that on average, again, across 6,000 plus purchase journeys, every individual person had clicked on 3 to 10 different YouTube videos, 2 to 8 different Instagram reels, 2 to 6 different ads, including retargeting ads, 1 to 5 individual Google searches, and finally, 5 to 15 different emails. And these are clicks, by the way, not views or impressions, actual trackable clicks on all of those different channels. But that wasn't even the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing that I figured out after thousands of purchase journeys and looking at everybody, the aggregate average of how long it took for somebody to go from the very first impression to choosing to buy my product was 6 months. 6 months. Again, that's the average. Some people bought within 4 to 5 days. Some people bought within 24 hours of their first touch points. For others, it took over a year. But the average across over 6,000 people was 180 days or 6 months. So this proved 2 things. Number 1, everybody uses email. Everyone. There was a ginormous study done that actually showed by age group the percentage of the US population that still uses email today, and almost every single age group except for the 65+ year olds is 90% and above. I know some of you watching this think, oh, emails, like who uses email anymore? Is that really an effective marketing tool? It is almost the most effective marketing tool, especially from an ROI standpoint, because emails only cost whatever your software costs. And if you choose the right software, like Course Creator 360, I have people spending $147 a month on our software and making tens of thousands, even 6 figures and beyond with just email marketing. So that's the first point. Second is the infamous rule of 7 is no longer valid. Everyone always talks about this rule of 7, right? Which is that it takes 7 touch points on average for someone to buy from you or to take action. Here's the problem. The rule of 7 came from a study done in the 1930s. A group of Hollywood executives got together and they found it took 7 posters or trailers before somebody chose to buy a ticket to a movie. And that eventually became marketing lore that everyone kind of used it as this like umbrella that it takes 7 touch points. Well, fast forward almost 100 years later, turns out people's attention spans are now 5 times shorter than they were in 1930. The number of ad impressions somebody gets hit with every single day has also 5x'd since 1930. And it's for that reason that I am now officially coining and I am creating what I call the rule of 15. It now takes on average 15 touch points and impressions from you as a marketer to your customers in order for someone to justify taking the next action or buying your product. Again, because 1, we are now 100 years later, the rule of 7 is outdated. But number 2, again, I have just uncovered over $3 million worth of data and over 6,000 purchase journeys to find that it took over 6 months and more than 15. But this, folks, is why email marketing is so important. You need more touch points with your customers. So the 3 core purposes of email marketing, before I dive really deep into the Lego framework, sending emails almost always serve 3 core purposes. The first is just awareness, right? Don't get forgotten. If people forget who you are, they're sure as heck not going to buy your stuff. The second is trust. Think about this like dating before marriage. Just like dating takes time to decide if you want to marry somebody, so does a transaction. I need to see you enough times, in enough environments, and in enough situations to make that leap and invest in you, whatever your thing is that you sell. And then third is to push people to action, right? Just like Black Friday, for us, it's an extremely effective vehicle to push people to take advantage of an offer, book a call, sign up for a free trial, take the next step, or take action that moves them closer to that eventual purchase. On the awareness points of just not getting forgotten, there's actually this thing called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. And it shows that as time elapses, the retention that somebody has declines exponentially. And it found that memory retention falls to 21% after 30 days without any reinforcements. In other words, if you have 0 touch points with somebody after their first impression, that first Instagram video, the first YouTube video, the first ad they watched from you, if you took 100 people, that means only 21 of them after 30 days even remember who you are, your name, your face, what you look like, what your product was, anything about you. But here's what's crazy. If you added just a single touch points, just any amount of reinforcements, that number jumps 2.2x. So instead of 21 people remembering who you are out of 100 at the end of 30 days, that number goes to 46 people. That is a ginormous improvement just from one extra point of contact. And most of you have a purchase journey that looks something like this, right? You got your first touch points. 6 months later, maybe you have an email. Most of you don't send emails at all. Maybe you've got some YouTube contents and you've got some omnipresence across multiple channels. Maybe you're running ads. Again, most of you aren't. And so you've got 2 to 3, maybe 4 other touch points in a 6-month period, and you're bewildered as to how am I not getting sales? It's because your journey looks like this. Marketers like myself who've been doing this for 10 plus years look something like this. And what is the easiest, lowest hanging fruits action you can take right now to create more touch points? An email nurture sequence. If you are completely new to this, an email nurture sequence is a sequence of emails separated by wait steps that are automated. So when somebody first comes into your ecosystem, if they sign up for a free thing or they join your newsletter or any entry point where you're grabbing their email, the nurture sequence is the number of emails and how far apart they're spaced that you're landing in their inbox. So hopefully you now know why emails are so important and why we have relied on them over the last 10 years to sell over $25 million in our own online courses and products. But now the question is, how do we build these emails systematically, quickly, and easily? Because most of you, just being quite frank and honest, just suck at writing emails. You're not a copywriter. Most of you don't want to. It's going to take you days, weeks, or months just to build them. And this video is the solution to that problem. I'm going to first start by going over the theory. This is the what, right? I'm going to show you the science behind these emails by 4-part email sequence I call Lego. You need to first understand how to write emails, what goes into the building blocks of them. And then second, I'm going to give you some plug and play assets so that you can take action. I want you to actually implement what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you 3 ginormous, huge shortcuts that you can plug and play into your AI tool of choice. It is going to pop out a minimum of 10 emails for you that you can then plug into your CRM to start sending these automated emails, increasing the number of touch points that you have with your customers and making some more money. So let's start with the theory. The what? Of every single one of the 50 plus million emails we have sent in the last 10 years, there are just 4 types of emails or building blocks that will make up what you put in your email nurture sequence. These 4 types act as Lego blocks, right? You build upon them, you can plug and play, put these into different parts of your sequence. Each of these different types of emails will make up a different percentage of how many need to be in your nurture sequence. But let's first start with email type number 1. We have lead-in emails. Lead-in emails consist of 5% or less of the total amount of emails you're going to put in your nurture sequence. Why? Because you only send these at the very beginning. The purpose of a lead-in email is to deliver exactly what the subscriber requested instantly. It explains who you are, why future emails are worth opening, and then it sets expectations, telling them exactly how often they're going to hear from you and how to bail if they don't want to get any emails from you in the future. That's it. That is the whole purpose of a lead-in email. Let me show you a real example of a lead-in email that I'm sending right now. So here I am inside of Course Creator 360. This is my email builder. This is the email builder that we have in our software. When you join our software, you get every single email that we've ever sent, all the templates for them, the automation sequences, everything is super plug and play. But this right here is a lead-in email for a market research report that we generate for people. And this is my lead magnet. So on this page here, I'm asking for people's full name, their phone number, their email, and then what their course idea or topic is. I then spend actual money to develop that report, and then it spits out a report and it gives them a score out of 10, along with a bunch of information on how likely their course idea is to succeed. So that's my lead magnet here, right? For that particular lead magnet, this is the email I'm sending. It says, hey, first name, just finished your reports. The report is sent to them. It's a hyperlink they can click on. Again, a no-nonsense approach. I'm not selling them. I'm not telling this big, long story about who I am, all my expertise. I promise them reports. The second they submit that, they get an email email, on the second line, there's a link to get the thing that I promised them. Quick instructions on how to use it, yet another link to get it, and then this little PS here on the bottom is the expectation setting. PS, by the way, I'm gonna pop into your inbox twice a week with bite-sized tactics and nuggets from selling over $25 million in online courses. Unsubscribe takes one click if that's not your jam, no hard feelings. And while we're here, let me take a minute to talk about unsubscribes. Many of you guys fear this, like it's just some looming, terrible part about email marketing. I want unsubscribes. It is a self-qualifying way to get people off your list if they don't want to be there, and to keep those who are the most engaged and will eventually buy from you. If you make it impossible for someone to unsubscribe because you're so worried about getting an unsubscribe, you actually double lose. You're annoying people who want to get off your list and they have no way of getting off of it, which then damages your email reputation. So more of your emails are going to start going to spam and promo, when all the while you could be focusing on people who are opening your emails, want to stay there, and understand the expectation you set in that lead in email saying, I'm going to pop in your inbox at this frequency about this specific topic. If you don't want to, here's the door. You can leave whenever you want. You want to stay, generally speaking, under 0.5% unsubscribe rates on all of your emails. Go above that and you're probably sending out too much frequency. You're probably annoying people. Or again, you just didn't really set expectations from the get-go and they're going to pop out. So again, to recap, the lead in email's sole purpose in life is to give them the thing that you promised in exchange for their email, and then to set expectations for future emails. So looking at my nurture sequence here, when they submit these forms up top, they come through the nurture sequence. I send them that first email, which is a lead in email, and occasionally I'll have a second lead in email. So lead in emails are almost always just a single email, sometimes two, and that leads us to the second type of email we have, which is engage emails. Engage emails make up the E part of this framework, and they consist of 60% of the emails you send out in your nurture sequence. These are no strings attached, value first emails. There are no pitches, no mentions of pitches. There's no offers being made here. It's just straight value. This kind of goes without saying. You are building a relationship with people. They need to see you in enough scenarios. They need to overcome enough objections and trust you enough. And you cannot build trust with your audience and with your customers unless you give them value. This has to be unadulterated, pure value that actually gives them a win. They have to be able to measure it and say, wow, I am better as a result of this email I just got. And it moves them one step closer in that big 6-month journey I talked about. But it doesn't work if you're pitchy and pushy. And so the 60% number here is crucial. There's actually a 4-to-1 ratio that you'll find in Facebook ads or Super Bowl commercials, where Facebook, they wanted to figure out how much can I bug people with promotional material before it starts to have a negative impact on the engagement of our platform. I don't want to drive people away by annoying the crap out of them. And they found that ratio was 4-to-1. For every 4 pieces of just value people get from Facebook, their friends, etc., Facebook found they could safely put 1 piece of ad in there, and that was the absolute max they could go before annoying the crap out of people. I like to stay pretty conservative and just over deliver, be more valuable than I am asking. And so we have found closer to a 6-to-1 ratio is healthier. It's still aggressive. You're still promoting your stuff, which I'll talk about in the G and the O emails, but it's a very clean and safe ratio where you're giving far more value than you are asking and pushing people to take the next step. Engage emails are teachable moments, inspiration, quick wins that leave the reader better off. It demonstrates your authority without overt self-promotion. And of course, keeps your brand top of mind in a positive light, which then down the road can welcome these future G and O emails, which we'll get to in just a minute. Let me show you just 2 examples of real-life Engage emails. Here is the first example. In this email, I always like to put a top, middle, and bottom clickable link to whatever valuable thing I'm giving. Sometimes I send them to a YouTube video. Sometimes I send them to another valuable resource or downloadable. In this specific email, though, I'm saying I start with your course idea is probably going to fail. It's very jarring, strong hook, very big relevant pain point that up-and-coming course creators in my market have. And then I propose a solution, which is a free AI tool that I've developed. All they got to do is input their course description, and it gives them a beautiful report showing them exactly how likely their course idea is to sell. Extremely valuable. This is not a bait and switch. Some of you marketers have that disease where you cannot resist the urge to always be promoting something and have some sort of angle on the back end. There is an angle. The angle is that I want to build enough trust with you so that you can choose on your own terms and on your own timeline when you want to buy. I am going to give you multiple opportunities, but you got to get out of this mindset of always having an angle and always trying to finesse and bait and switch people. Just give the value, nothing else. Here is a second example of an email. This one, I'm pushing them to a YouTube video. This is a video on my channel. I talk about how I use Instagram comments on my Instagram Reels to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm revealing a lot of cool numbers. I'm also comparing it to ManyChat, which is a software that most people use. And I hint at there being a much better way to do this. And if they want to get the value, Here is the free thing. It's a YouTube video. It's a long form piece of content they can consume, get a bunch of value from, and then in my YouTube video, I then have links to buy my stuff. But again, the email is trying to push them just to get the value. I'm not talking about anything in here to book a call, to buy my thing, to get a discount. It's just, hey, here's a pain point you probably have, here's something you'd like to get, and here's the value. And by the way, on this topic of sending people to your YouTube channel from your email, this is one of the biggest hacks with email nurture sequences. This is called cross-pollination. You've got your Instagram channel, your YouTube channel, you've got your email list from leads that you've generated, right? Why not cross-pollinate? Why have emails be the only touch point with people? Why not push them to your other channels? This works so well that this guy right here, Ben Fisher, tattoo artist, he's a member of Course Grade 360. He was getting hundreds of thousands of leads from his Facebook ads. He's getting $1, $2 cost per leads, really cheap. But instead of saying, wow, this is amazing, I'm just gonna try to email the crap out of that list and get them to buy, he instead said, you know what? I'm gonna push people to a 30-day challenge. And every day I'm gonna pop in their email, and day 1, day 2, day 3, each email is just gonna push them to my YouTube videos. So he's got 30 YouTube videos over 30 days. He's just pushing people, cross-pollinating them over to his YouTube channel. Way more than half of his 160,000 subscribers came from his email list. Most of them don't even know you have a YouTube channel. They watch the YouTube video, they get all this value, and what are they gonna do? They subscribe. And what does that subscription lead to? More touch points. Again, this 6-month conversion window, it gives you more opportunity. Now you're diversifying your touch points with your user base. You don't just have to rely on email or just YouTube or just Instagram or just ads. This is how the best marketers do it. There are multiple ways to touch people, appropriately of course, that are gonna push them to the next step to eventually buy your stuff. And speaking of pushing people to eventually buy your stuff, that leads us to G emails, which stand for guide. This is where you officially have my permission in your email nurture sequences to start to give a little bit of a taste of, hey, here's the next steps. I'm gonna start guiding you and pushing you in a direction that's going to lead you to become a purchaser. Guide emails make up 25% of all the emails in your nurture sequence. However, guide emails are still value driven. You start by adding value, and then at the very end of your email, you softly steer your readers to action. When you place these guide emails strategically throughout your sequences and in the right times, you start to turn these passive readers who are consuming, right? They're all just value consuming, and you start to sift out the people who are just tire kickers from those who have gotten enough value from you that they may want to consider taking the next step. These guide emails can have dozens of different types of calls to actions. The most common ones that you'll see are things like booking a demo call, applying for something, taking a survey, to be another form of an opt-in somewhere. Again, still not overtly pitching them on things. Of course, on those demo calls and sales calls, you're going to be pitching them, but we're not straight up coming out of the gate saying, hey, buy this thing, here's discounts, go purchase. Here's an example of a high-performing guide email that I've written. Here's the email. Feel free to pause the screen if you'd like. I'm giving a whole bunch of value on the psychology of how I design my website, how to structure it, what's the point of it, and then at the very bottom, what do you know, I've got a little call to action here to book a demo call. Again, I've started by continuing to give value. 60% of my emails already are value. On top of that, another 25% are still value, but with one little small caveat, hey, if you'd like to book a call with my team, you're still not quite sure if this makes sense for you, I'd love to talk it through. It's a soft guide. I'm not hard pitching you quite yet. You've probably got questions. Let's talk about it. If not, totally fine too. And you want to know who uses guide emails perhaps more than any other marketer I've ever seen? Alex and Layla Hormozi. Let me show you something about a guy who used to tell people, I have nothing to sell you. I've received over 200 emails from the Hormozis. Sometimes they have emails that are just emails. They're just engage, right? This email from Layla right here is just a whole bunch of text, a whole bunch of value, and there's nothing, no call to action at all. Most of their emails, I'm talking 80, 85% or more of their emails from either Hormozi is a guide email, right? Here's the value you get, bunch of value. And what's this? A workshop. This goes to a landing page, and I can book a call to a broken calendar link that's non-existent. Fix your funnel, Alex Hormozi. But that's a guide email. They're trying to get me to book a call. Here's another one, right? Bunch of value, some cool insights. And then at the bottom, what is this? Applied to my workshop. Again, another application, same exact page. Next email, a little bit of value, not a ton. And then a guide email, book a call with my team. Apply for a workshop, book a call. Apply for a workshop, book a call, book a call. Apply for the workshop, apply for the workshop. This is just like 10 of the last 200 emails, and they all look like this. They're all guide emails. But again, every single one of those emails are still giving value. It's just giving you a little nudge at the end. Hey, by the way, you can book a call, you can apply. I'm still not directly selling you anything, not overtly at least. On the back end they are, eventually they will. But when you apply both guide emails and engage emails together, 85% of your emails are still building more and more trust. You're collecting goodwill. And that leads us to the fourth and final part of this framework, which is O emails. O stands for offer emails. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the day you've all been waiting for. Finally, I can talk about my stuff. I can sell people, and what many of you tend to lean way too hard into. And I found the proper percentage of these emails you should be sending is only 10%. Only 10% of the time are you giving people a time-bound, benefit-rich, chance to buy. Offer emails are finally cashing in on all that built up trust that you've been banking and saving over the last couple of weeks or months. You turn those people into trials, into upgrades, into sales. You present a clear, unequivocal opportunity to buy your thing. We're not being shy about it. There's no bait and switches. It's just, hey, I've got something to sell you. Here it is. Oftentimes you pair these emails with some urgency, some scarcity, give them some reasons to buy. And then just as fast as you sent that offer email, we promptly return back to our safe cycle of continuing to build and to give trust to our people. But folks, you cannot be nervous and shy and awkward about the fact that you have something to sell. Just in the other day in my community, I had this awesome gal. She said, my lead magnet that I made, which is a challenge, it's like a 30-day challenge that she made, it's not converting. I'm getting no sales from it. What's wrong? Well, I dove into her funnel. I looked at her course, and you want to know what I found? She had a grand whopping total of one pitch, one opportunity in the entire 30-day course challenge to buy her main thing. And it was at the very end of the course, something only 10 to 20% of people are even going to see in the first place. She was bewildered as to how is nobody buying my stuff? And it's like, Kathy, you haven't even told people you're selling something. How are they supposed to buy your thing if they don't even know what you sell? So ironically, some of us are so confused why people won't buy. We just assume that they know what our offer is, how much it costs, they know the benefits, they know it's going to help them. They don't. You have to remind, re-remind people of what you sell, why you do it, and why it matters to them. People forget stuff all the time. They're inundated with other offers, other things going on. You'd be surprised at how many times I have to just remind people for the simplest things. People who pay for my programs, who pay tens of thousands of dollars for stuff. I have to remind them 4 times that the coaching call is coming up. Otherwise, they don't make it to the call. That's just human nature. You got to tell people, give them an opportunity to actually buy. Here is just one example of one of the most obvious types of offer emails, and that's when I run a flash sale, something like Black Friday. Now, in a normal kind of email nurture sequence that's not attached to a sale like this one, it's not going to be nearly as in your face, but I am going to come out and say, hey, here's the thing that I sell, here's the price, here's the link to join. But this email here is promoting a time-sensitive 5-day sale. I've got a countdown timer. I go over everything that was in the package, and I'm cashing in on that trust that I've developed, hopefully over the last 6, 8, sometimes 12 months plus. And offer emails just like that one are the exact ones that led to us having $500,000, $700,000 plus Black Fridays, because for months and some people years, they've been on our email list, getting all sorts of value from us. They've been consuming YouTube videos, Instagram videos, ads, webinars, all these valuable things. And now I'm cashing in. I'm giving you a chance to buy with a really awesome discount, a good deal. There's some scarcity, some urgency. I'm pushing them towards the door and giving them a very clear offer. So let's get to the fun stuff, right? That is the Lego sequence. 5% lead in emails, 60% engage emails, 25% guide emails, and 10% offer emails. And if you were to put that into a 30 email sequence, right? If you sent 30 emails, applying those percentages, you're going to find that lead in emails are almost always going to be 1 or 2 emails. 18 of those 30 would be engage emails. 7 of those 30 are going to be guide emails. And then only 3 of those are going to be offer emails. But remember when I told you that I found it takes on average 6 months for someone to buy our courses? Well, it's for that reason that I recommend to all of you, and what I do myself is I make at least 6 months worth of emails. Now, a lot of studies have shown this. Some of the best marketers that I've hired and talked to have found the best cadence for sending emails is twice a week. That is what I recommend doing, a minimum of once per week. If you don't want to be that aggressive, that's fine. Once a week is the bare minimum required. I send 2 emails per week on average. And so if you want to make 6 months of emails, 2 emails a week times 24 weeks is 50 emails. 50 is the ideal. That's the number we're shooting for. However, by the end of this video, I just want you to make 10. I'm going to show you in just 1 minute how to use some amazing shortcuts and some really amazing assets to use AI to help you create those emails so that you can do exactly what Tim just did after he watched this training, which I gave live a couple weeks ago. And he was able to make that 10 email sequence in 1 evening. What used to take him weeks is done before he went to bed. Real person, not a paid actor. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in about 2 minutes. So you put it all together. That is the Lego framework. These lead-in emails, you just send once. They're not really part of your ongoing cycle. The rest of all of your emails are going to cycle between engage emails, guide emails, and offer emails. Now that, folks, is the first half of the theory. Those are the 4 types of emails. Every single email that you're getting right now in your inbox, every email I've ever sent can fall into one of those 4 types. But the last second half of the theory, the what, before I can give you all the tools to actually go out and start writing these emails and have AI bust them out for you in just a couple minutes, is 5 copywriting frameworks. Now I've shown you kind of the types of the emails, but now I have to show you how do I actually write good stuff in the email. Well, lucky for you, of the thousands of emails that we've copywritten ourselves, and after collecting thousands of other emails from some of the best email marketers out there are just 5 email copywriting frameworks that you can copy and paste today. You don't even really have to understand these, but this is the structure of how to actually write the email itself. The first framework is called the SLO framework. This stands for story, lesson, offer. Very simply, tell a quick story, extract the takeaway, the lesson, and then invite the reader to act. That's the offer part. Now, each of these 5 frameworks actually have a corresponding Lego brick that they each work best with. SLO emails tend to work best with engage emails as the primary block, and then guide emails as the secondary block. And again, remember, the engage email, the offer part of the SLO, doesn't have to be a overt pitch or promotion to buy your thing. Sometimes, as you saw in my previous email, the offer is actually just, hey, go check out this YouTube video or go get this free thing. The second framework is BAB, stands for before after bridge emails. This is where you paint the readers before the pain that they're coming from. You show them that desired after, right? What's the point I'm going to get to? And then you bridge that gap from pain to desire to get them there. The primary block that these work best for is engage emails, and the secondary block is guide emails. Third, we have the 4 Ps. They stand for picture, promise, prove, and push. The picture is literally painting a picture or a vivid scene. You're promising them the benefits. You're backing it up with proof, credibility, social proof, authority, evidence, and then you're pushing them, oftentimes with some urgency. It's for that reason that the primary block that these work for is the O emails, offers, and the secondary block being guide emails. Fourth, we've got PAISA, P-A-I-S-A. The I is oftentimes optional. Some marketers just use PASA. This stands for problem, agitate, insight, solution, action. Again, depending on the email type, you might leave the insight out. I always like to keep it in because I'm always giving value, but this is where you surface a problem, turn up that discomfort, you agitate it, really make it a very clear pain point they have. You present your fix, the insights, you show them the solution, and then you nudge them to take a click or take action. Primary block that this works for is guide emails. Secondary is engage emails. And then lastly, we've got ADA. This stands for attention, interest, desire, action. You grab attention, you build their interest, you stoke their desire, and then you drive the immediate next step. The primary block this works for is O emails for the offer, and the secondary is guide. If you're anything like me, that's great, Stockton. A whole bunch of frameworks, a lot of really cool ways to write the emails. That's cool. I understand the 4 types. How do you turn any of this into action? I don't just want to leave you here with a bunch of great information. Here is how to actually apply what I just told you, what I just taught you, and how to feed it to AI directly to spit out some incredible email copy for you and to leave with 10 emails that you can send and put into your CRM of choice. Or if you're smart, you'll sign up for my software and start sending emails through us. This is just a 4-step process, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Step 1, I need you to download these 3 documents here. The links are in the description of this video here. Just click below, let me know the best email to send it to you. This is in fact an opt-in page. I'm gonna throw you on my email list, and you're gonna be recipients of exactly what I'm teaching you in this video. But if you want them, you can get them for free. First document here is the Lego framework. I essentially put here into this document here what the purpose of each of those bricks are, the core ingredients of how to actually write them, 7 proven variations of emails that you can write, some plain text mini templates, which are crucial if you want to give AI some really good input to then give you an exceptional output. I then give you the 5 email frameworks, SLO, BAB, 4 Ps, ADA, etc. Again, going super deep into how to actually copywrite, what's the framework for when we write those emails, some templates, how to build it. Again, these are instructions to give to AI so that you don't even have to use your brain. You can throw it in the trash. Just use this document. I've already written down everything that AI needs to know for how to write an email effectively, and you run with it. And then the third and final document I'm giving you is what I call the 360-degree avatar template. Now, any type of copywriting you do, whether it's for emails or for VSLs or webinar or even YouTube videos like this one, AI tools don't know everything about you. They don't know your hero's journey. They don't know where you came from, what pain points you went through to get here. They don't know all your credibility, what your accolades are, your results. They don't know any of that stuff, right? So you have to be able to give AI a really good picture of you, yourself, who your market is, who you're going after, what their pain points are, their problems. And instead of going in the ChatGPT and every single time you write a prompt or say, hi, I am a doctor. I help people overcome obesity. Here's a little bit about myself and my products. I need you to write me some emails. Spare yourself the need to have to rewrite that prompt every single time you talk to ChatGPT. You only have to put that information one time. Tell it everything about your market. What's your story? What's your product, your price points, your offer? What is your market's biggest pain points, fears, desires, outcomes? What's your authority, your credibility? Some competitors in your space, and much, much more. I simply click on Command A, I copy, I paste it, and then I give it my prompt. This will save you unheard amounts of time. I promise you. Just get it done once. You've got it in one document, and you can use it for every single AI tool you ever use in the future. Cool? Cool. That's step 1. Step 2, once you have those 3 documents in place, you're going to go to ChatGPT and you're going to use the Craft Prompting Framework. If you don't know what the Craft Prompting Framework is, go click on this video here. I just did a video on this the other day showing you my 5-step process for how I actually talk to AI to get exceptional output in all the marketing material that I create. Make sure you use this 5-step 3-step process in tandem with those 3 documents I just gave you. Step 3 is I want you to write 1 email at a time for each of the letters, right? Start with your lead-in email. What is the thing you're giving away for free? Is it a PDF? Is it a webinar? Is it a downloadable? What is your lead magnets? Give AI the documents I gave you and have it write for you a lead-in email. Then move to engage emails. If you want to write an email sequence that's at least 10 emails, 6 of those are going to be an engage email. So you're going to spend most of your time here. Once it's starting to write you some gold that you love, great. You move on to the guide emails. And then lastly, at least 1 offer email. You've got yourself a 10 email sequence. And then finally, step 4 is to make tweaks by feeding it one of the 5 email frameworks. If you don't like the output AI gives you, play around with it, right? Say, hey, I actually want you to make some adjustments here. Use the BAB writing framework instead of the SLO. You tweak it, you guide it. But again, AI is doing all of the work for you. You don't have to use any of your brain up here. You just have to follow these instructions. And again, to get every single asset I'm about to show you how to use, link is in the description. It sends directly to your email. But let's jump into it. Let me show you exactly how to write at least 10 emails for your very own nurture sequence. Once you download the assets in your email, I send you this link right here. And to write emails, you only need these 2 documents right here. The first one is this 360-degree avatar templates. And the second is this Lego framework templates. This is actually 2 in 1, breaking down the 4 letters along with the 5 email copy frameworks. And I even throw in some little nuggets here where I give you over 20 of my own email templates along with people like Alex Ramosi, Matt Gray, totaling over 100 emails that you can use to learn from and train AI on. And as mentioned, I'm going to start with an L email. I'm actually going to write the exact lead-in email I'm going to use for the free resources I just gave to you today. So step 1, I'm going to copy my personal 360 avatar templates. This has been fully populated by my market of course creators, which is you. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And I'm going to use OpenAI's ChatGPT. I also love using Claude by Anthropic. Claude's actually a little bit better at writing copy for emails, I will say. Both are great options though. I yoinked that into the prompt right here. And for this one, since I'm writing a lead-in email, I'm going to click on the brick L. I'm going to copy this whole thing. And I'm going to paste that in the prompt too. And the rest just comes down to prompting AI effectively. If you don't know how to talk to AI, please go watch this video on my YouTube channel. I just released how to use AI and prompt it correctly to write these marketing assets for you. Go give that a watch. In there, I share with you my craft prompting process, character, results, assets, formats, and tweaking. But to spare you the time here, this is the prompt I've put together to write this first lead-in email. The very last thing I'm going to input here is actually the entire transcription to this YouTube video you're watching right this second. So this transcription is going to give AI all the context as to what the downloadable thing is I'm giving. In this case, again, you're downloading this free assets that includes 3 resources to use to write your emails, right? With all that in mind, a bunch of assets here, a great prompt. I click go. Sometimes I'll take that exact prompt and give the same thing to Claude just to see who does a better job. Okay, and here's the first output AI just came up with. Hey, first name, big win grab in this download, puts you miles ahead of the AI dabbler crowd. Some instructions. That's it. There's the expectation setting. Did a perfect job there, but this is a very good start. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to paste this inside of my CC360 email builder, and I'm going to make some slight wording changes to things that I like, don't like. I'm going to go ahead and make some hyperlinks, making it super easy where to download. I had my graphic designer throw together a nice looking graphic here. That's completely optional. Got my PS here that gives the expectations, and I'm literally done. I now take that email, I come into my automations inside of Course Creator 360. When somebody fills out that form on that landing page, which you're probably doing right this second, so you're gonna come down here and I'm gonna send you that email, which is right there. Email number 1 is done. Folks, that took me all of 5 minutes to put together. Again, if you're a perfectionist and you really wanna spend time on this, you can make that even more perfect. I can now tweak it. I didn't even give it a single revision here. I can and probably should. This is the output that Claude gave me for the same email. Again, notice how it is following a structure. It's following that exact lead-in structure I gave it, which came from this document here. You copy and paste it. It knows exactly who my market is, their pain points and problems, etc. And the rest is history. It's really well written. Okay, that's just a lead-in email though. Those are really easy to write. Let's jump into a much more complex type of email, which is engage emails. These are pretty nuanced. They're very subjective. It's relative depending on what you want the email to look like and feel like, how long you want it to be. A lot of variables at play here, but let me show you how I would write my very first engage email. Okay, same exact prompt here. Nothing's changing except for I'm now going to give it the engage email framework. My prompt's going to sound something like this. Okay, awesome. Next, we're going to write an engage email. Here are all the instructions that you need to write what an engage email is. And I'm also going to include a brain dump session I did about a topic that I trained on. And I want you to write the entire engage email around that topic. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and paste the engage email instructions. Now, technically, I could just say, hey, write me an engage email. You pick the topic, go. And that can work. That's going to be a little bit more generic. I like to give it a little bit more of a nudge. So I'm going to use this random example here. I filmed a Loom video for my team internally. It's an 18-minute video of me just training on the 5 why method. I'm going to take the transcription of this video and I'm going to feed that to AI and go. That's it. Okay, this time let me show you the output Claude gave me. So here we go, the 5 why method engage email. Subject line, the 10K mistake that taught me to think like Toyota. And then it wrote a pretty lengthy email here, right? This is probably, I'd say, a medium to long email size. This is completely up to you on the size of email that you like. Some people like super long emails. I think really long emails are a lot harder to copyright and do well. I would recommend starting with shorter to medium emails. But just reading this email, I'm telling you, it's really, really good copy. And because it's an engage email, check it out. It's saying, here's a simple templates to get started, right? I'm giving some value here. Followed my instructions. It shared a really compelling story, really set in some pain, and then it gave some value at the end. Following my instructions perfectly. Now, here's the very last component I like to do. I mentioned that I got these 5 email copy frameworks, right? Well, let's say I didn't really like this email. And because I told you SLO emails work really well for engage emails, why not just copy this whole framework here on SLO and say, this email is great. I want you to write me another revision though. And instead, I want you to follow the SLO copywriting framework. I'm going to copy that below, give it the SLO framework. Again, notice how it's not offering and giving a push to buy anything because it's still making it an engage email, but it's a story, it's a lesson, it's an offer, the value. I can go back and forth as many times as I want and say, hey, great, this looks good. I kind of want a BAB now. Now give me a BAB. You copy, you paste, and you just keep going. Again, this is not you writing the emails. You don't have to use your brain here. This is about as lazy as it gets. It's still going to take some time. That's why I say in 60 minutes or less, you should be able to write 10 full emails. Of course, this depends on how big of a perfectionist that you are. I'm just telling you guys, an email is better than no email. So don't try to like pick and poke at every small detail of these emails. Just get it done. Finish it, put a timer for 60 minutes, slap it into your CRM or CC360 and go. You can always come back later and perfect it as you go. But folks, that is it for how to write emails. Hopefully you can use this to write 10 email sequences or more in the span of just 1 hour. If you want to get every single email template we've ever sent after selling over $25 million in online courses, you want access to all of our automation templates, our funnel templates, website templates, you want 24/7 customer supports, you want our entire education suites where we teach you how we've built, market, and sold multi 8 figures in online courses and products, you can join Course Creator 360 below for a 30-day free trial. Test it out, see if you like it. But that's it for this video. Go wild, and we'll see you in the next one.